All right, good morning, traders. Today is February 7th, 2025. My name is John Carrigan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody in digital land, podcast land, cyber land, however you want to call it. Thank you so much. Good morning, Mondo. All right, so thank you for finding value in my content. Thank you to all my subscribers in the room. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you out there in Cyberland for leaving a kind comment and subscribing to my content. If you have any questions, please just drop a line in or ask me the question or shoot me an email, john@byobtrading.com. All right. My SPY pivot this morning, 604.35. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five made higher highs and higher lows, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Silver and gold, both in uptrends, both made lower lows and lower highs, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. UNG, USO, both still in daily uptrends. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing over the trap over the 17. USO made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. US dollar index still in a downtrend, closed near the 107.66 area. All right, let's take a look at some charts. Well, before we run into some charts, let's go ahead and do a little review here. Let's minimize this. I want to talk about this chart right here. All right. So back at the beginning of December, we started our prior all-time high triple top right here. So we wound up doing some consolidation in December. That was a prior all-time high. This was triple top, and this led to that harsh pullback. Okay. Then we got ourselves a triple bottom right through here, and that triple bottom led to a new all-time high up here. And I just want to make note right now, we've got a double top so far, and we are working on the triple top. All right, just to make you aware of that. So kind of as we get closer and closer to this downtrend line, and we'll have to draw a line in here and connect the two tops. All right, as we get closer and closer to that downtrend line, even just before it, we'll be looking for covered calls and debit spreads as we get closer to it. Probably should even start thinking about, good morning, Jordo, covered calls and debit spreads probably today. All right, so as we go into the weekend, you might think about kind of hedging your positions going into the weekend. We are bullish. No, this is a bull flag consolidation right through here. We'll see what happens. That is a bullish environment. Okay, but I just want to let you know this was a bullish environment. All right, see, price action moved up. That was a bullish environment too. All right, so this is a bullish environment here. It's a little bit sloppier, not quite as tight as what we had over here. All right, so just want you to know that we're approaching a triple top again. All right, might be time to kind of like tighten up stops. Don't want to lose any profits. Start hedging something, as we go up to make higher highs. And I'm thinking we're really going to go up to make some higher highs. All right. We'll see. But, you want to err on the side of caution because you never know what's going to happen with the market. All right. So I just want to point that out because I don't want to see any of my members losing any money. All right. Because they didn't know what was coming. All right. So there we go. We got a triple top here, led to the harsh pullback. We got a triple bottom here, led to the new all-time high. Now we're approaching the next triple top. Okay. So I just want to share that this morning. All right, for the SPY. All right, hey, good morning, Stefan. All right, if you attended yesterday's webinar, all right, and I talked about this, price action If you set a anchored VWAP on the prior day's low, you can see price has been pulling back and V-bottoming right off of it. All right? And I talked about this probably 30 minutes before it actually happened. And I was talking about it in the room, telling people that, hey, we've got in the past 3 days in this run-up, all right, if you put an anchored VWAP on the bottom of the prior day's low there, you can see price action comes into it and V-bottoms off to make a new high. Well, guess what? Yesterday was no different. Minutes later, they had the shakeout right into the all-time, the prior day's low, all-time, anchored VWAP, not all-time, anchored VWAP from the prior day's low. All right, and you can see price action ripped. That was a nice $1,000 trade. Buying the dip as you saw price make higher lows with that red candle and then that higher red candle, and price ripped to make new highs up there on SPY. You want to see it again? We could take, let's do another one. Here's prior day's low right here. All right, you can see we come back and visit right there. And we come back and visit it right here. Okay? You want to see this low right here? Let's go back one more day. Let's try this low right here. And you can see price action comes back to it here. And here it bounces up, makes a new high. All right, so this has been working so far. So it worked again yesterday. So I'm going to take these off because we don't need them. All right, take that off. I don't need it. I've already explained it. Take this off. I don't need it. So I have an anchored VWAP on yesterday's low. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, we're on the 5 minute. We're going to flip to the 10. All right. On the 10 minute, we had a 10-minute uptrend going into the close. On the 2 hour, we have a 2 hour uptrend going into the close. On the daily chart, we made a higher low and a higher high. We closed over a bullish trap. We closed over the 17. We closed in the upper quadrant. Okay, this is our quad lines up here. Take that off. We don't need that. And take that off. We don't need that. Okay, closed up here near the top of quadrant 4. All right, so we should probably take a trend line and smack one in right about here and make a connection with the top of that one. Little dip right there in that trend. All right. Keep an eye on this area for a possible reversal. Okay, as we get up closer and closer to it. Okay, you can see price action for today. That area would be roughly about 609.13. which actually kind of lines up with the prior all-time high over here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right, so there's SPY on the daily chart. So look at 609.13 as some possible resistance as we get up there again. As you can see, when we got up here, we got a bearish reversal. Okay, and you can see on this candle, we got a bearish reversal. You see the wick up at the top, sellers up there. Bearish reversal. Actually, you compress those 2 days price action and you wind up with a wick just like that. Okay, but you have to compress the price action between the green candle and the red candle, and what you wind up with is a candle that looks like a wick. So just wanted to point that out to you, and that would show you where the sellers are at. So there's there's the daily chart. Ken, we're up over, let's just take this and move it up to the all-time high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, so price action closed over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Closing up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. As you can see, here's the quad 1, quad 2, 3, and we're up here leaning on the all-time highs as we're getting up there again. So there's SPYs. Take a look at the game plan, and we'll hit that up on the 10. All right, so the SPY game plan. I like 7 DTE options and 14 DTE options. In other words, they expire next Friday and the Friday after. You can trade whatever you want. I'm just saying, like, for the purposes of safety and having the time to make the corrections, believe me, those 0 DTEs and 1 DTEs are going to work really fast, okay? They're going to move much faster than a 14 or a 21 or a 28-day Friday option, okay? The further you go out, the slower they move, okay? So if you get something with a really short time frame, believe me, it will be very volatile, all right? It'll give you great performance if you're on the right side of it, okay? But let me just say, if you're on the wrong side, you can get painfully humbled, all right? Really quick. All right, so green erases red up here, okay? So price over 606.10, that's the entry. Green erases red over the pivot. The pivot, 604.35. Red erases green under the pivot. 604.35 is the pivot. The bearish entry, 603.20. Okay, so remember that big shakeout? Well, underneath that shakeout, we get below that shakeout, probably going down lower. All right, so there's a SPY game plan for this morning. Let's go hit up QQQ, see what they got for a game plan. All right, and here's our QQQ game plan. Again, same options. I like Friday. All right, so those are 7 DTEs and 14 DTEs, okay? Kind of steer away from the zeros. They're very volatile. All right, you can play them if you want. You know, I'm not telling you what to trade. I'm just telling you what I like. All right, bullish. All right, bullish green erases red entry over 529.09. Again, we got a 10-minute uptrend. All right, going into the close yesterday on SPY and QQQ. So all we need is a 10-minute candle. All right, something that's not a topping wick candle, something that's not a red candle, and something that's not a doji. All right, so we don't want a doji, we don't want a red candle, and we don't want a topping wick candle, because that tells us that there were more sellers in there than there were buyers. Okay, can't have more wick than body and tail. Okay, so bullish entry over 529.09, pivot 528.06, bearish entry 526.41. Again, below the shakeout candle low, right down there. Okay, notice the exhaustion candle, same as SPY, right into all-time the prior day's low anchored VWAP. All right, so that's what we had on SPY as well. All right, so I just wanted to share those, and let's go to the next one. Let's go look at the daily here. On the daily chart, this would be yesterday's candle. We got ourselves higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP right here. It's the pink line. Price action, okay? The 3 EMA right there, over the 3 EMA. All right, that's the thin yellow line. And then we got the white line up here in quadrant 4. See that? Quadrant 1, 2, 3, right up here in the middle of quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, they're still in an uptrend. All right, so QQQ, uptrend. FNGU, let's see what they got going on. All right, let's just move this out of the way for right now and move this out of the way. Okay, so just take these out of the way. Yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high. Closing over the trap, okay, that's the 3 on top of the 8 on top of the 17. Over the trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, over this green uptrend line. See, we're over it. Over this gold downtrend line. See, we're over it. Okay, up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right, over the uptrend line, over the downtrend line, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, over the trap, over the 17. This is bullish, FNGU, all right? Again, make a note. Remember I'm saying, like, you're approaching that triple top, all right? So not to say that they're not going to keep going, all right? I'm just saying, like, keep in mind that price could reverse. Maybe not today, maybe happens next week, maybe it shoots through and doesn't ever reverse. We don't know. We hope it shoots through and consolidates up there. That's what we'd like to see it do. All right, but we don't know what's going to happen. So I'm saying, like, if there's a spot to be cautious, all right, it's going to be today and tomorrow, or excuse me, and Monday. Today and next week, all right? So there's FNGU on the daily chart. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. And Diamond Dow did the same thing. Higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Now Diamond Dow is technically still in a downtrend. They have to take out these highs to negate the downtrend. Why? Because they didn't put any lower highs to negate. All right, so they have to go all the way back up here and negate this. So this is a pullback in the downtrend. All right, again, it's just a label. All right, they very well could make higher highs right through here. So there's Diamond Dow on the daily chart, closing in top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, so that's bullish. You see the position for SPY. That's bullish. QQQ, FNGU, same area. That's bullish. All right, let's take a look at our last one here. Then we'll take a look at the technicals. T2122, excuse me, IWM, got ahead of myself. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17, flat 17 there, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? Almost in the upper third, darn near being in the upper third, which would be bullish. Let me just say they're knocking on the door, all right? If they're not in the bullish upper third, they are definitely knocking on the door, okay? So there's IWM on the bullish side of neutral, knocking on the bullish door, all right? So there's IWM, okay? So they're bullish as well. So you got all of the Fab 5 up there in bullish positions in the quad lines. Let's take a look at technicals, T2122. Okay, so we came kind of melted out of the buy zone into the buyer's chop zone, making lower highs and lower lows yesterday. Notice we didn't come all the way back to the midpoint. Maybe that happens this morning, and then we bounce. We'll see what happens, all right? So just right now, currently in the buyer's chop zone. I'm thinking today, I don't know if we get a rest today. I'll be curious if we get a rest today. I think the market wants to go tackle those highs, all right? I think the market really wants to tackle that downtrend line on SPY. So we'll see what happens, okay? Currently, T2122 in the buyer's chop zone. Got a higher low. I'll be interested to see them make a higher high. That would put them into knocking on the door of the overbought zone. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. All right. T2123. Yesterday's price action. All right. We gapped up. See this? We're gapping up. Bears aren't filling these gaps. That is a bullish sign. That's a bullish environment. Okay. Bears aren't filling the gaps. That's a bullish environment. T2123 gapped up, consolidated to the right. You would have thought the next move was up. Instead, it went down. Could not make the lower low. All right. Couldn't even fill the gap. That's a bullish sign right there. And price action comes all the way back up and closes out the day green after a pullback into the prior day's, the open gap. Trying to fill the gap, they failed to do it. So that's a bullish environment. T2123. Same product. Notice again, T2123. over the rising 200 SMA there. Okay, so nice work on that. So they got a long ways to go, but they can get there. Okay, this is the prior all-time high. Excuse me, that is the all-time high right up there. Okay, got a couple priors down here somewhere. I don't know what happened to them. We'll find them later. So there's T2123 on the 3-bar chart. All right, so you can see got a couple of prior all-time highs right here. 3-bar chart, 3 more green candle bars, closing in on that flat 200 SMA, kind of dipping just a little bit there. T2123 closing in on that 200 SMA right there. So 3 more green candle bars, looking like consolidation bull flag on top of prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment. Looking good, closing over 2 prior all-time highs right here. That's these 2 green lines right there. All right, so there's T2123 on the 3 bars. Take a look at FNGU for yesterday's price action. That'd be the 6th right here. Almost bullying all day. Again, consolidating over prior consolidation. Get out my drawing tools because I like to use them. All right, let's trash that out. All right, so you can see a little consolidation here. All right, notice over the prior day's consolidation. That's bullish environment. And notice the prior day's consolidation over the prior day's consolidation. Bullish environment. And notice this consolidation right there over prior consolidation right there. Okay, so nice stair step up right there. Now we're consolidating right into the open right now. So there's FNGU, nice work. Little pullback there on FNGU yesterday afternoon with the shakeout. Recovered nicely, ripping all the way back up there to the highs. There's FNGU. All right, let's go take a look at a few sectors. Let me take that off. All right. So looking good up over the 200 SMA and the all-time anchored VWAP right there. So we're over the 200, we're over the all-time high anchored VWAP, we're over the uptrend line, we're over the downtrend line. It's looking good, all right? Still want to play this with caution. Again, we're up there near the triple top, all right? Let's take a look at XLE. Here's our energy sector. All right, and you can see we closed on the bearish side of neutrality here. We are still caught underneath this downtrend line, still caught underneath this downtrend line, still caught underneath this. Yeah, I think that's a okay, so that's a 12-month high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, 12-month high caught, and again, we closed underneath that 12-month high anchored VWAP right there with a lower high and a lower low closing. You can see under the trap, under a bullish trap, but on top of the 17 EMA. So obviously we found some buyers right here underneath the midpoint on the XLE. So we'll see where they head off to. Again, just not on the bearish side of neutrality. There we go. All right. Underneath the, okay, so let me back up. All right. So we have a outside day, higher high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap, under the 17 EMA, okay, and underneath the 12-month high anchored VWAP, underneath this downtrend line, underneath the midpoint, okay? So just kind of neutral right here, all right? Almost on the bearish side of neutral, knocking on the door there. All right, so there's XLE. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG looking good. Price action yesterday, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, over the 12-month, 12-month high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right there. Up here in quadrant 3, all right, so just kind of neutral. Notice they have a habit of going up and giving it up, all right, so they're just neutral. If they could have held the upper third or even the upper quadrant, that would be bullish, all right. So there's UNG, all right, looking good, still in an uptrend, just in the neutral zone right now, all right. Let's take a look at USO. All right, USO still in an uptrend, but having a pullback in that uptrend. In order to negate the uptrend, they have to take out this low. All right, if they take out that low, then they negate the uptrend and convert to downtrend. Yesterday's candle was lower high, lower low, closing under the trap, under the 17, knocking on the door of the midpoint right there in the buy box. There's USO. Yesterday's price action, okay, still in an uptrend, but not in the upper third, definitely not in quadrant 4, okay, so just neutral. Again, they go up, they give it up, okay, got to see them get up there and hold. Precious metals, all right, GLD and SLV both put in lower highs and lower lows. All right, remember GLD the prior day, not yesterday, but the day before, made a new all-time high. So here's yesterday's candle, lower high, lower low, closing over the trap, over the rising 17, that's the green dots, over the all-time high, prior all-time high anchored VWAP, okay, up here at top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right, GLD, okay, SLV, put in the similar candle, lower high, lower low, but closing over the trap, over the rising 17. Up here in the upper third, that's bullish. All right, in an uptrend over the 12-year high anchored VWAP, that's the pink line. Okay, up here in the upper third, so that's bullish. Closing over the trap, over the 17, there's silver. So we just did energy, oil and gas. We just did silver and gold. Let's go ahead and take a look at SMH. All right, SMH still caught in a downtrend. All right, if they take out the high right here, they will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend, this high that spikes through the 17, the falling 17. SMH on the daily chart. Yesterday, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over a falling 17. All right, up there in the bullish upper third. All right, so SMH bullish, still stuck in that downtrend status. Again, it's just a label. All right, but looking good. Bull flag from August. It's getting kind of long in the tooth. Time to break out and make something happen. All right, there's SMH, XLK. All right, XLK still XLK in an uptrend. They made a higher high here. Okay, so that they negated the downtrend and converted the uptrend because they just made a higher high yesterday. Higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's XLK up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. XLF financials yesterday made a new all-time high. Okay, all right. See that higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the rising 17, over this prior all-time high anchored VWAP, over this prior all-time high anchored VWAP, and that was the all-time high made yesterday. You can see this morning already making a new all-time high to start the morning off on XLF. Let's take a look at XLI. It's industrials, price action, higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap because the 3 is underneath the 8 EMA here, over a bearish trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in quadrant, in the upper third, that's bullish. All right, everything looking good. Still stuck with downtrend status. until they take out this high. But ever since we've had this pullback, all they need to do is take out actually this high here or this high, either one. All right, and they could negate the status. Again, it's just a label. Look at where it is in the position of the quadrant lines. All right, you're in the upper third. You're knocking on the door of quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, so there's XLI. XLU in an uptrend because they took out this high and they converted the downtrend into an uptrend. All right, so price action yesterday is an inside day, lower high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. I'm going to call it in the upper third, right up there. So they're knocking on the door, so they're bullish up here. All right, but before they were closing candles down here, that would not be bullish. That would only be neutral. All right, so there's XLU. Let's take a look at IYT. This will be our last one. We'll call it, go take a look at the economic package. All right, IYT. It's our transports. We got a higher low and a higher high. All right, we closed under a bearish trap. Okay, we started here, we rode up to there, and then we closed all the way back here. Okay, so we closed down here. So under a bearish trap, under the 17, under the uptrend line, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the upper third. All right, so just kind of neutral here. They have a habit of moving up and giving it up. All right, so that's just neutral. All right, so there's IYT. All right, let's take a look at the economic package. Hope you guys are still with me. I just saw my screens blink. All right. Dollar in a downtrend. Took out this low, so we're in a downtrend. Had they made a higher high right here, they would have negated the downtrend and converted the uptrend. Thanks, LJ. All right, so didn't quite get it. All right, so we're still in the downtrend. Okay, but we're just not moving down. We're just kind of moving to the right, and we just retested those highs right there. Price action yesterday closed around 107.66 area. Okay, still looking like a bull flag if you ask me. It's a move up and over to the right. Okay, let's take a look at. Let's go take a look at Max Payne. Might as well fire that up while we're waiting. Get that going. Max Payne. Economic calendar for today. All right, we got the employment situation comes out at 8:30. Thanks, Alan. Bauman's going to speak. That's a Fed speaker. It's not Mr. Powell, so we're really not too worried about it. Get consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. Thanks, Alan. Consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. We got wholesale inventories coming out at 10 o'clock. Got a Fed speaker and a rig count at 1 and a consumer credit at 3. So really light day. All right. Actually, I looked at the jobless claims that Alan posted yesterday. And they creeped up a little bit. They were outside the range. All right. They were a little outside the range. But got to remember, it's kind of seasonal too. All right. With the seasonality, you got a lot of, holiday season like Christmas and New Year's. All right. They're not going to need as much staff. All right. Now down here, we're hiring. All right. This is our season. This is when all the snowbirds come. All right. So we're hiring down here. In the summertime, the snowbirds go home. All right. And then we don't need as many people here. Well, in the holiday season, everybody hires for, the snowbirds down here. But the increase in volume of sales that they're going to be doing, during the holidays. All right. So some of those people aren't going to be as busy or needed. You're not going to need that much staff anymore because New Year's is over. Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and all of them are over. All right. So you're not going to need as many people for a while. All right. So it's expected to just pop up a little bit on the jobless claims. All right. So we'll take a look at the employment situation a little bit later. I'll probably dig into it later today and explain it on Monday. Anyways, okay, things still looking good. All right, so light day today. We'll see what happens. All right, what else do we have? Earnings reports. Why does that not look right? Okay, let's try this again. Earnings reports. All right, today's Friday. All right, Southern Copper is supposed to report, and I've seen a lot of delays in this quarter. Not sure what's going on. I don't know if NASDAQ got it wrong. I don't know if they gave the wrong date to these CFOs, that'd be chief financial officers. But anyways, nothing really notable here that's going to move the markets. There are some familiar names. Okay, you got all Plains, American Pipeline. That's a familiar name. CBOE Global Markets, another familiar name. Okay, but they're not capable of moving the markets like an Amazon would. Flowers Foods, they make a lot of bread. All right. So Southern Copper, of course, they're not going to report. All right. Some familiar names. All right, but not going to move the markets today. On Monday, we've got McDonald's. It's going to report in the morning. All right, that's $210 billion. All right, probably not going to move the markets. Not like Broadcom. Not like Google, Microsoft, Meta, the big seven, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. They'll have an impact on their sectors, but probably not going to cause any crashes to happen. Okay. Okay. So we got McDonald's, $210 billion on Monday. All right. Veritex Pharmaceuticals, $123 billion. Again, more familiar names, but nothing really market moving right there on Monday or today, other than McDonald's and Vertex. Okay, for Max Payne, what do we got? Max Payne, we got six. Is that right? Six. Yes, it's the same as yesterday. 602. All right. I don't even think we got to 602. Did we? I gotta go look. I just got to peek. All right. SPY. I know we got down to 603 on that pullback. I don't think we got near 602. Got to check it out. That low was 602.65 right there. Okay, so we got close. Just had to touch it, didn't they? All right, so back up. All right. So 602 is the same thing. It's the same thing it was yesterday. But get this. This is different. Okay, yesterday we only had like 1.5 puts for each call. Today we got a whole bunch more volatility. We have almost 2.5 puts for every call that expires today. Okay? There is a possible put squeeze on the table. In order for that put squeeze to work, they cannot allow a dip to happen. So in other words, gapping up and applying pressure all day, all right, would prevent the puts from getting out. All right, because they should have closed yesterday on that dip. If they didn't close yesterday on the dip, all right, then they're expecting a deeper dip today. All right, because you got a shakeout yesterday. You should have got out yesterday. That happened right near the close. If you're still holding today and your put expires today, that means you must expect it to dive even deeper today. All right? So that means down to 600 if you're still holding your puts from yesterday, because we had a shakeout that took us down to 602.50 or 60. All right? That was your chance to get out. All right? If you didn't get out, then you're expecting it to go lower than that. All right? And if they gap up or if they rally all day, those puts will have to cover. And that means they'll have to buy to cover, which will definitely fuel a spike early in the morning, okay, possibly see a big spike up. All right, so we'll see what happens if that thing gets going, that put squeeze early in the morning. All right. Other than that, the puts are going to have to sit and hope that price drops all day. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right, so we did the dollar, we did the economic numbers, we did the earnings reports, and we just did Max Payne. All right, and I'm just gonna take a peek at the employment situation. I'm going to need a couple hours. I'm going to need at least 30 minutes to look at this, so I'm going to pass. All right, traders, I'll be back in about 40 minutes, and we'll open up the markets. All right? Looking for that put squeeze. Hopefully we get it. All right? Got to get this rendered and sent out. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys in about 40 minutes.